Chat, here we go. We have a nice cross-region matchup, courtesy of the fact that Gamers 8 is coming up in a couple weeks. Yan and Feer are already in EU, looking to defend their title, or looking to prep to defend their title that they got at the previous Gamers 8. And no better way to do that than to prep against some 1v1s. Why not Nass, who has been one of the best 1v1ers in EU recently. So that's how we get Yan versus Nass. These two were actually queuing up together in 2v2 before the show match. I went and asked Nass if he wanted to play. And he's like, and then I told him, after he agreed, I said, yeah, okay, let me just confirm with Yan. I haven't got him to respond yet. He's like, I'm in party with Yan. And Yan is down. So we now have Nass versus Yan. Yan has looked like a really solid 1v1er. And I'm interested to see who you guys think is favored here between Nass and Yan, because I actually think it's just a very close matchup. Nass has really upgraded his level as of late with a bunch of solid wins, and he's doing so in one of the toughest regions to do it. Yan, who doesn't play a lot of cross-server 1v1s, is mostly forced to dominate North America, which I do think is just a step underneath the competition in EU and MENA. And Nass trying to prove that that's the case right now. And the nasty reset to Musty. He just puts enough pace on it that it doesn't matter. Yan slows it down a little bit because it goes in as 32km/h shot. It definitely was faster than that, but Yan got a touch right as it made its way to the goal line. Yo, Arda Vias, thank you for the Prime for 2 months. This time, the aerial is stopped out by Yan. He was maybe expecting the ball to be pinched into his half, but Nass actually pinches it across the net to gain a possession. Yan thought he saw the bottom left of the net available if he could rush it there, but Nass covers it and demos him on the follow-up. Today is a solid day for Nass and Nush, it seems. We just had Nush versus Jorias right before this one, as well as Nush versus Dark. But it is the N-labeled players who seem to be playing well today. Nass. Quick camera check to see what Yan's going to do off the kickoff. Yan does come out better. And now has himself a hook shot. Powerful. Nass in and out of the net, though. Such a smooth save. And able to grab all the boosts on the map. Should be able to use that to his advantage as he wall dashes. Wants another close angle shot. Nass has done well to cover them. If Yan had put it on target, I actually think Nass would have been there. Demo. Yan looks to capitalize by going to the skies and attacking a late respawning low boost defender, but it doesn't work out. Nass's defense has been enough. Yan, will he use boost for this one? I'm actually surprised he did. As he set it up off the backboard, you know, if Nass isn't around, it's worth using the boost to double, but pretty clearly Nass is going to be able to make a play on the ball, so you might as well save that 60. And he did save enough to keep himself on offense, but only for a moment as he loses control of the ball. Nass makes it 4-0. Are there going to be 2v2 matches? You know, that's a good question. I might look for 2v2s as well as Gamers 8 starts, but I only have a few days. I only have a few days here before I have to go out of town for something before Gamers 8 and then Gamers 8. So we'll see how much we can get in these next few days. Yan. Side flip to control the ball to the back corner. Did not pick up his own corner boost, so Nass will dive in and take it to make sure Yan stays low. Gets enough of a touch to get the ball around Nass and force him back into the blue half. Now Nass can do the same thing, not picking up his own back corner. Now he's working off of 50. Could have had reset on 100. But the game has come to a screeching halt, and that has heavily favored Nass, who has the lead. And as I say that, Yan comes to a screeching halt on the side wall because Nass able to demo him. Nass letting the ball fall to the midfield. The other option would be to tap it towards the side that Yan hasn't beat to. So no reason to do that. Nass not tested as he did not have a ton of boost to work with, but gets to just fall down to make a nice save. Yan has so much movement on these aerials, but Nass this time has covered. And, you know, that's just kind of the case when a defender starts playing as well as Nass. Oftentimes, the offense starts searching for something to make it through and can end up making their job even easier. This time, though, Yan's on the board. He is not going to be shut out. He's got 30 seconds to try and get 5, and I'm not sure he's going to, but very solid shot here. Not that he hasn't had solid shots. They've just all been kept out. Yan. Soft flick to the top right. I think he's just playing for the future of this 1v1 right now. No question that if he cared about winning this specific game, he'd be diving right now. But he's just kind of playing it as if it were any other moments in the game, because he's really more just trying to figure out, how am I going to beat Nass in this whole series? The way he's been playing, Nass will save this final shot. So game 1 going to go to Nass. But I do believe the most recent shot and goal in favor of Yan. Game number 2. Chat says Yan in the Octane is deadly, but Yan is going to disagree, at least for now, as he stays in the Fennec. Low 50 from Nass, covered by Yan. He has not been able to surprise Nass, at least not yet, on these counterattacks, but it's going to take perfection, and perfection is what this was. Nass undercutting Yan, but placing that off the post and in. He almost convinced Nass to own goal it, but doesn't get better than that. Is there a ping advantage? That's a good question. No, not really. 44 to 36. Yan is preparing for Gamers 8, so he's in Europe. Actually don't know where he is yet. Yan, a little bit too far behind the ball. Gave it speed, but not enough height to really surprise Nass. Nass has made it clear that if you're going to get past him while he's prepared in defense, it's going to have to be off the post or off the crossbar and in. It's going to have to be perfectly placed. Nothing else will make it through, but another way is to score off of a poor offensive attempt from Nass. The wall dash just couldn't save him. Nass ahead of his dribble, falls back and does a great job to cover it. As soon as you find yourself on the wrong side of the ball, it's a bit of a dangerous situation. You gotta count yourself lucky, or not necessarily lucky, but feel good about the dribble if you can just pull it back and prevent it from being an immediate counter, and at least Nass did that. He had a chance in defense here, but Yan is starting to turn into his old self here in 1v1 as he finds his bearing in Europe. He's up 3-0. He's trying to hit Nass back exactly the same punch he just got hit with. Yan behind the ball with 20 boosts. Did his best to try and work his way into the corner, but Nass does beat him there. Now Nass to the ceiling with a reset. The pinch might have caught Yan off guard, as it was not likely that he'd be taking a shot that early. And does cover it. And no follow-up from Nass off the pinch to double. This is going to be a really tough play. Nass just needs to touch it as really a more defensive effort to stop it from flying out to the midfield. Yan has a reset. It's going to go to the ground. Nass covers it, but the recovery is not going to be for free, as Nass attacking to save wide across the field. Couldn't find his way back, and now it's going to be 4-0, and it's a complete reversal. We are 1 goal away from the full reversal, but it's happening much quicker than it did last time. We had a few idle minutes there in game number 1. Nass on the board before 5 goals. 4-1. A very interesting approach to the kickoff. He actually approached it far from the left and still ended up getting to the right side of the ball to push it left. Delay this time around. Yan with the midfield boost. Wants to pin Nass onto his back wall, and he successfully did so. It's really hard to operate, even when you have possession, with that little space, and Nass was hoping that Yan was just going to leave there. Otherwise, he certainly would have panicked and tried to get up to stop Yan's shot. But after Yan has found a bit of momentum, he doesn't seem to have any interest in giving it back. He does give Nass a ton of space. Nass likes the ceiling resets, but couldn't really adjust the ball. His flip doesn't do anything to get it out of the way. Yan, bounce dribble, and a great shot. Oh, I thought it was perfect. He delayed the side flip as long as he could and still got a ton of movement, but actually was just a bit too much. Nass not catching Yan with his pogo. So it'll be Yan the other way. He's known for those air dribble bumps. He's going to bring his first of today. He's going to put him up 6-1. Nass. Flick into the top left corner. Now has the air dribble reset. Wave dash. My goodness, Nass. Yan let him cook. And he absolutely did. 62 boost for Yan. Didn't want to overcommit on that challenge as it came to the ground. Fake kickoff for Yan, read by Nass, but not perfectly, as he uses up all his boost to get to the ball, has nothing left to work with. Try and beat Yan. Yan, low dribble. Probably a result of the fake challenge high from Nass. You see a lot of defenders challenging off the ceiling nowadays when everybody takes their dribbles too high up, so the perfect zone to start those air dribbles is actually right around, the middle of the arena. Maybe the upper third, but not all the way to the ceiling, because becomes too easy to play defense from there. That's just the way the game has progressed. Yan trying to get a bad 50 out of Nass. Nass does a good enough job. He has a minute to bring him back 4, so he's going to have to start getting aggressive here. Unlike the previous game, where Yan was clearly just playing for preparation in game number 2, I think Nass actually has a chance. At least he did. It is slowly whittling away. Certainly time for Nass to get ambitious. As he has his boost stolen, he's going to go out to the midfield. No, he decided to come back. Felt like he wouldn't get there in time, but I don't think it matters. I almost feel like getting boost is worth it. There's one thing I've noticed. It's that in late game scenarios, you have to have the boost to make it work 9 times out of 10. But Yan will take game number 2, and he'll do so with a stylish double after Nass tried to carry out with low boost. The Dark Nush match, that one already happened, or at least it attempted to happen. Yan. Maybe gonna get one more. Should make it 8-2. Has the goal advantage now after winning this one by 6. Nass out of that, at least out of that Fennec. We'll see if he's in a different one. Game number 2 or game number 3. We changed server. Yeah, no problem. Maybe that's why he hopped out. Game number 3. Nass and Yan into a new server. Will it be enough with a comeback? Or I say comeback, but doesn't necessarily feel that way. Nass played amazing in the first game. But clearly momentum is all in favor of Yan. Yan, hook shot to the back wall. Now bounce dribble. You see Yan is very intentionally reacting to how Nass is set up in defense and trying to place the ball into the corners he's leaving open. Nass is doing a good job of ultimately covering everything because, you know, I don't think Yan is making the wrong decision with a lot of his shot attempts. It does seem like the angles he's going for are the most viable, and yet Nass always makes sure to stop it. Being said, the follow-up is for Yan. I say always make sure. Yan did just destroy in the previous game. Nass had some solid defense for a good portion of the match so far. Now it's going to be Nass with a full field dribble. He is keeping the ceiling height. Yan pinned to the ground. The flick to finish. It's just a bit too slow, and it's going to be a counterattack, so might be stylish, but it's worth nothing without a solid finish. Nass has Yan retreating back with very little boost. I think Yan could have picked up some. He's going to throw the nice one because that flick is filthy. But yeah, Yan should have had the midfield. And look at that. That's a perfect punish. Woo. Doesn't get better than that. Nass trying to force a bad save out of Yan, but I actually think that one worked out perfectly. The fact that he hit the inside of the post meant that the ball falls back out onto his half and not the half where Nass is already prepping to steal his boost. My goodness, what a save! Oh my goodness. They are just back and forth. Perfectly placed, powerful shot, and yet Yan somehow saves it. Is he going to come out of this alive? No, of course not. Of course you want to see an epic defensive stand after a save like that, but instead, Nass just, the single jump is enough to push it past him. Thank you, InnoGod, for the tier 1 for 22 months. And tier 1 for a long time. I appreciate that. Nass. Pure wall to air dribble. Has the reset. Yan has the boost to work with, but is recovering a bit late. Having to defend from a position that forces a bad angle because Nass played that dribble from directly behind Yan. I did know that Nass won his first PC in a Sunless video. Nass played in a console tournament on Sunless Khan's YouTube, the winner of which was going to be gifted a PC. And Nass, I believe, won that tournament and showed that he is ready to level up once he's got a computer. And this time, he catches Yan a bit too high on the back wall to make the low save. Yan, strong first touch to start the dribble. But ball falls away from him on the reset. He's going to try to go all the way from the back corner from an almost standstill. Such an impressive bit of mechanics and control to do that. Having to get that front flip that rolls clean underneath the ball but doesn't separate the ball from the car feels like an almost impossible thing to do, and Yan makes it seem like a foregone conclusion, but he isn't able to score off of it. He does keep Nass from extending the lead. As Yan pinches this to the back wall. Now he's going to have Nass setting up on the right side, doing his best to try and stop him, but he kind of half committed to it. I want to see Yan's perspective. He did his best. Oh yeah, he decided to give up on it. I mean, he chased Nass down, seemed to be very clearly playing, a rushed defensive style where you're just going to try and basically dunk the ball away from him. And instead, he gave up on it last second. Dog does not like kickoff goals, yeah. I think something just got dropped off at the door. Sorry, I'm muting up. If you don't hear me say anything, it's because I'm muting up while the dog goes crazy. Yan. Air dribble bump. Nass. Look at the save against one of the best air dribble bumpers in the game. Now he's on a bounce dribble of his own, and he cuts it just as Yan looks to make his save. He's able to get 7-4. You want the dog commentary? You want me to just keep it on? Well, Yan started off this game number 3 the way he finished game 2, which was in full control, but Nass has found his footing, and it's going to make it a 4-goal lead with 50 seconds. Not impossible for Yan. So he needs to get a little bit creative on the kickoffs when they're playing in Gamers 8, which Yan will be very shortly. Won't be seeing any forfeits. You'll have to try and make every single game count because you do only have a best of 1 usually in the 1v1s. Nass, an incredible save. That ball found its way 50% of the way through, and Nass launches in the cherry on top, and it should be a game 3 win for Nass. A 2-1 lead over Yan. Yan really no choice this late in the game to just cut that ball and do his best to rush every goal. Nass knew to expect that. Now he'll waste out the last bit of time as he carries this ball around the map, playing keep away from Yan. Yan to the skies. Nass, the pre-jump. Yan can't find the angle, and Nass has been doing that all day long. Actually, might be crediting Nush a little bit too, because Nush is doing a good job of it. But 10-4. Dominant win in game 3 for Nass. He's got one more win needed to win the best of 5. Game number 4. Will we continue to see the complete shifts in momentum between these two? As Nass, unable to get a shot attempt, looks to just try and play keep away and does survive the bump attempt. Now we'll have a late recovering Yan. Tries to catch him on the low 50. Dribble from the attacking corner. Nass brings it all the way to the ground. Pre-flipping. Oh my goodness, Nass. Wait, Yan has the save. Incredible save. And just as amazing of a shot from Nass, though. The creativity to pop the ball in the single jump and then use the flip to try and finish it off. And yet Yan keeps it out. And you see him just stylishly dashing on his way to his goal. You've seen some spectacular defense from both players. Nass wants the self-pass hook shot across the field. Yan is back in time for it. He just handed Nass a goal. I mean, that is the kind of stuff you need to clean up, especially when you have only one game to work with in Gamers 8. I mean, no question. That's just the brain turning off there a little bit. Forgetting that you cannot get away with that hit. Nass gonna make it 2 straight after the gifted one. That's just the way 1v1 goes sometimes. Nass has won a few kickoffs pushing left. Big kickoff from Nass now. Back corner dribble. Keeping it glued to the ceiling all the way there. I don't think he got the final reset. Makes it a bit easier for Yan to read. Really smooth catch into an air dribble bump. Yan. One of the reasons why he's the best to do it is not just because of the finish, but because of the setup. Yan winning this kickoff, pushing rights. Seems like these two are both vying for that same part of the field because Nass is actually trying to win his kickoffs to the left. Yan maybe prepping for that and just playing into the momentum of Nass to secure his third. Nass bumped after the low 50. Seems like he's trying to go for the single jump wave dash. And lost control of the ball off the ceiling. Had to panic flip to try and stop the counterattack from Nass. And Nass finds the tight double. After Yan attacked early, he knew if he could keep it up in the air that there's nothing a low boost Yan could do to stop him. Instead of going straight to the nets, he pins it off the backboard and ties the game. Nass recognizing quickly. Nothing left to be made of that dribble. Yan wants to flick to the top right. And gets undercut by Nass on the recovery. And so it'll be a Nass 4-3 lead. Nass, another kickoff win to the left. Either one of these guys have been able to force it the other way. And going for the first touch shots as opposed to the dribble. Just wide. Cannot react to the pre-jump of Nass quick enough. Saw him trying to drop the ball down for a low 50. Nass forcing Yan to play that middle of the arena dribble we were talking about as he goes to ceiling heights to defend. Yan lets the ball drop intentionally. It's hard to keep that up. That's just been the way the meta in ones has been moving. Players have become so consistent at attacking high. Defenders have started to force them to try it lower, but Yan shows how it's done. Keeps this underneath a height that can be challenged in the ceiling. Not that Nass was trying to this time around. And then scoops the flick just inside the near post. Yan, backboard double. Nass able to take it away. Bounce dribble from him has a recovering Yan, who scoops off the back wall. Found himself on the wrong side of the ball here. Can he recover from it? Keep Nass out. Seems like he might have, but he's not in the best position boost-wise, and I assume Nass is going to try and force the issue. There is that back corner now, but Yan is almost dodging it on purpose, it seems. He still is able to get the save. So the downside of not picking it up is that he allows Nass to grab it. But he recovers before Nass's shot. Seems to be wanting Nass to take the ball in front of his net. You can see the hesitancy of Yan to make a play on the ball. Doesn't know what his plan is if he takes that touch. So it almost seemed like he wanted to play it off of Nass instead. Just didn't work out in his favor. Yan pre-flipping underneath the ball. Actually had the ball falling into that bottom right corner. Nass able to get the save. Bounce dribble from Yan. Needs a goal in this final minute. Falling from the ceiling. The wave dash catch. It seemed like he tried to flick it last second to give it some height, but instead, Nass got the save. Another option for Yan was to try and bump Nass out of the way. But he got neither. And Nass is rewarded with a goal for his solid defense. We'll try and see if we can get TRK and a lot of the people who are going to be playing at Gamers 8 in for sure. Again, pulls off a 5th goal to keep him in this one. Us 1v1, you know, us Showmatch creators are always down to have all these players you guys want to watch. You can usually assume that if they are not playing, it's because they aren't interested in it. "20 seconds. Nass has Yan in his own half and looks to play this ball purely as possession into his back wall. Has to be careful to not let Yan through. 4 seconds left to go. He is now completely out of boost. Yan has the advantage there, but it could just be a single 50 down to the ground. Got it in. I decided to go quick so I could get it in before they left. Jeez. Yan and Nass probably heading back to the ranked world to go play some more 2v2 if I had to guess. That's what they were doing before, but Nass is going to win the 1v1 3-1.